Hey, my loves, I haven't done a podcast, a video for YouTube, or, you know, I haven't really done much in terms of sharing a lot of my lessons and learnings and things that I've been going through over the last couple of months and in the last year. Um, I've kind of been like ad hoc on and off in terms of what I do share and what I don't share. And today I had this revelation, or more so this message from my intuition, from spirit, from the universe, around what it is that stops us from going after what it is that we want. And you probably already have a fair idea of what this might look like. It might be your beliefs, it might be your fears, it might be the things that happen outside of your control that you don't really, you know, tend to look deeper into because it's scary, or because it's, something that we kind of just want to suppress and push away for later, or for it to just sort itself out. And really what I want to talk about now in this moment is putting yourself first and what that actually looks like and what it can look like for you. Because I've been working with a lot of amazing women lately, and the community that I've built with Rising Synergy, and the community that continues to grow around putting yourself first so that you can go after what it is that you truly want. A lot of the things that have been coming up has been around, the standard things like beliefs and fears and blocks and self-sabotage, but also this deeper understanding of the connection to self, and the deeper understanding of what this actually looks like to us as an individual. And it's basically what I have been getting through in terms of messages and in terms of, downloads all of today and like the last week, particularly around two specific things. So the first one is, when something happens to you, whether someone breaks up with you, whether someone says something nasty to you, whether someone does something wrong in your eyes and it hurts you, or like inflicts pain on you, or something doesn't go right in your business, something doesn't go right on a plan that you've been, sticking to for however long, and something doesn't go the way that you want. What tends to happen is that we can either look at it one of two ways. We can either look at it as the thing is happening to me, and because it's happening to me, it makes me unworthy, it makes me undeserving, it makes me a bad person, it makes me useless, it makes me terrible, it makes me an infinite line of negative habits and expressions and feelings and emotions, because it's happening to me. Because it's happening to me, it means that I am doing something wrong, or I am the bad person, or the universe has something against me personally. Compared to when we come from come from a place of love, we come from a place of kindness and deeper understanding, and knowing that instead of it happening to you personally, it's happening for you on a level that allows you to learn, on a level that allows you to grow, and on a level that allows you the opportunity to change something within your own self so that you can have a different experience next time. And what ends up happening when we change from this belief, or, this inner dialogue of everything's happening to me, I'm the victim, I feel personally attacked. I always joke about it, when you're watching reels and you scroll through to something and you're like, oh, I feel personally attacked watching this, and you might send it to a friend or whatever. And, all jokes aside, deep down, we do still feel personally attacked in some way, form, or another way, that we feel this personal attack against us from the universe, or from God, or from whoever it is that is inflicting us with this pain. But what I want to remind you is that at any point, in any time of the day, on any day of the week, in any week of the month, on any month of the year, you have the opportunity and the power and the magic within you to actually change the way you think about this. Because the thing is that when we start to change the way we think, we start to change the way that we feel, and we start to change the way that we act and interact with the world around us. And so moving from this thought of this thing is happening to me, or this thing is happening to me because of X, Y, and Z, we can change it to this thing is happening for me because I need to learn this, or this thing's happening for me because it's not in alignment with what it is that I am wanting to move towards. And it's actually holding me back and anchoring me back into past vibrations that aren't allowing me to grow into this person that I want. Or it's happening for me so that I can actually start to take responsibility for my own actions, for my own feelings, for my own thoughts, for my own life and self that I am wanting to co-create with the universe or God or source or whoever it is that you believe in. So when we start to switch from this happening to you notion or dialogue to it's happening for me or it's happening for you, we start to take the power back, and we start to become this person that we sometimes don't recognize, because if we've always been under this umbrella of everything happens to me, I'm just clumsy, I don't get what I want, yada, 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 and we continue with this dialogue, we will always continue with that dialogue. And it's not until we actually change something within ourselves and our own selves, and we actually take responsibility for ourselves. And it's not because someone else has told us to, but deep down we know that it's the change that we need to make, or the feeling we need to change, or the thought we need to think a better thought around. This is when we start to move in a different way. And when I say we move in a different way, I mean we either react to the things that are happening to us, or we respond to the things that are happening for us. And when it comes to reacting or responding, the key difference is where you are coming from in terms of your feeling and emotion. So when things are happening to us, or we think that things are happening to us as in a personal attack or in a way that doesn't feel nice, and we feel hurt and we feel pain, and we feel like it's been inflicted on us from like the heavens above, we're reacting from a place of the ego. We're reacting from a place of our wounded. We're reacting from a place of past trauma and past experiences that we haven't had the chance to heal, that we haven't had the chance to overcome and pull out from the shadows what it is that we needed to learn from that experience. And the difference between reacting to something that's happening to us and responding to something that's happening for us is that when we start to respond, and an easy way to respond to something that's happening for you, because remember, we're trying to change this dialogue, is that when something is happening for you and you're wanting to respond, the easiest way to do that is to pause. Is to take a breath, whether it's for 3 seconds, whether it's for 10 seconds, and actually sitting with what it could be that is happening for you right now. So whether you are in a relationship where deep down, or like a part of you shouldn't be in this relationship because of certain reasons, this pause, this time to respond, allows you to connect inwards. Whether it is you are wanting to start a business, or you're wanting to follow a dream, or an opportunity comes up where you get to change roles or positions that may be worth less money, but you actually will learn what it is that you want to learn. Taking this time to respond rather than react from an emotion that is from greed, or from the lack or scarcity of not having money, versus taking time to actually respond and taking time to have a break and feel into what the possibilities of responding in a different way could give you. And the thing is that when we start to respond differently rather than reacting, we start to gain power back. We reclaim our power. We reclaim our sovereignty over what it is that we are actually trying to do with our lives. And this has been something that I've been kind of thrown into by the universe over the last couple of weeks, actually, no, the last couple of months, is practicing this reasoning behind my response, practicing this reasoning behind why I'm choosing to respond rather than react. And I'm not saying that I've been perfect. I'm not saying that I haven't reacted at all, because I've definitely reacted like multiple times from things where I should have taken the time to myself to respond. And there's been plenty of times where I've been able to do that, but I chose not to, out of fear, out of lack, out of unworthiness, out of anger, out of multiple different reasons. And this isn't to say that everyone is going to be able to respond in the best way, but bringing this awareness to you and actually giving you this permission slip to pause, to take a breath, to go inwards and to connect with yourself and your deeper understanding of why it is this thing is happening for you. So I'm just going to give you a few ways that you can start to move through something hard or something that's happening that you would rather not be happening. And it may feel hard, it may feel painful, it may feel distressful or stressful to you, so that you can start to change your way of responding, to actually responding with that deeper knowing and connection with yourself than reacting with like the first emotion that pops up, whether it's anger or sadness or upset. So the first way is asking yourself, what does it mean to me now, in terms of when whatever happens to you that you would have otherwise liked to have not happened to you, what does it mean to you now? What does this situation mean to you now? As in right now. It's when you're asking yourself this question, let it be rapid fire. The first thing that will come to your head is probably the first thing that your body and your mind is thinking. So don't overthink this answer. Don't ever overthink the question. Just allow it to come to you freely and openly, and allow yourself to be open to whatever it is that comes to you, and be kind to yourself in the way that if the answer that comes up isn't what you were expecting, allow yourself to be kind and receive this information from yourself. Because the more that we can be open to receiving information about ourselves, the easier it's going to be later on when we are wanting to respond, when we're wanting to, come from a place of love and understanding within ourselves, and we're actually able to move forward with what it is that we are wanting to respond with or take action on, and to actually think. The second question that you can ask yourself after what does it mean to me now is, what do I want it to mean to me later? Because a lot of the times we can react from out of anger, out of sadness, out of upset. I'm not saying that it's bad to, but what I am saying is that when we constantly react to situations that we could have otherwise responded to in a more aware and conscious way, in terms of the way that we do feel, in terms of the way that we are wanting to show up in our lives, and how we're wanting to choose to move forward through these situations that are happening for us. Asking yourself the question of what you want it to mean to you later gives you the permission and gives you the power, gives you the magic, and gives you the want to actually change the way that your future can be. Because if you're someone who overthinks something, if you're a people pleaser, if you act out of spite, if you act out of anger, if you act out of sadness, all of these things come from a place that is in the shadows and that is hidden in our past trauma or generational trauma or ancestral trauma or inner child trauma or any wound that has yet to be healed. So what I've been practicing is asking myself, what do I want this to mean to me later when it comes to having to respond or react to something? Do I want to constantly feel this way every time it shows up? Do I constantly want to be reacting in this way every time it shows up, or when I see something similar like this triggering me? Do I want to be triggered by this? Do I want to be able to move past it when it does pop up? Do I want to have to feel anxious or this feeling of anxiety every time something will come up and trigger me and my heart starts beating like 50 miles an hour. Do I want to be feeling that later in life? No. So what do I actually want it to mean to me later? So this is where you start to ask yourself the questions of, what is it that I'm actually wanting to learn? What is it that I'm actually wanting to gain from this experience and the situation that I'm in? Because this is where you are going to make the biggest changes in your life. And then the last question that I'm going to give you that you can use, and all of these questions, these 3 questions, are ones that you can journal in every day. You can journal on them about every situation that you've been in, every experience that you've had, any experiences that you felt really hard to move through and you may have reacted at the time, but you can always go back and look through it again. So the last question is, what can I actually do about it? And this is one of, I want to say, one of the most easiest questions, but also one of the hardest at the same time, because it means that we have to take action. It means we have to take responsibility for what is actually going on in our lives. It means we have to take responsibility for our, a part of our healing, for our past trauma and all that kind of thing. And when it comes to shadow work, when it comes to working through your wounds and your inner wounds, we often don't like to do this because it means we have to take responsibility for actioning it. And if you are someone who has been through a lot of past trauma, if you're someone who has been through a lot of, negative experiences in your life, and you find it really hard to forgive people, you find it hard to move on, you find it hard to get yourself out of that emotion or feeling or that rut that you're in, because I feel you on that. I know what it's like to be stuck in past trauma all the time. I know what it feels like to go through experiences that are really hurtful and really painful, and sometimes it feels like you're never going to get through it. But the only way to get through it is to move forward and go through it. And I know that message in itself can be really hard to take in, because most of the time we don't want to. Most of the time our ego, and when I say we, I mean our ego, will want us to just play safe and play small and not, expand to the divine expansion that we are here to expand to. And so when it comes down to the question of what can I actually do about it, there are so many opportunities and so much magic within you that can help you move through whatever it is that you're going through, whatever it is that you are feeling like you're stuck in. I've worked with so many amazing women and men who have moved past miscarriages, who have moved past depression, who have moved past anxiety. And not to say that they never, it's not that you never think about it again, but it's how you choose to control that memory. It's how you choose to move through it and continue to live your life despite it happening to you. It's how you choose to show up in everyday life, knowing that you can claim your power back over the things that have happened to you or happened for you in the past that weren't nice or weren't positive or didn't give you the best reaction or response that you were wanting. But you still have the control to change what you do now and what happens tomorrow and the next day and the rest of your life. So these 3 questions of, what does it mean to me now? What do I want it to mean to me later? And what can I do to control? What can I actually do about it that is within my control, is going to substantially start to change your life if you choose to do it. And again, this is one of the things that a lot of people everywhere in the world struggle with and struggle to come to terms with, is that this level of self-responsibility that we all have for our own lives, especially when things don't go our way, or especially when things don't go the way that we expected them to go. So this is just, I guess, your reminder of how much magic you actually have in you. This is your reminder of how many times you can be broken down, you can be kicked to the curb, you can be hiding under a rock, and you can still come out on top. Because there's been so many times in my life that I felt like I was at rock bottom and I never thought that I would get out. But the universe and God and source and the world that we live in has this crazy way of making you see things in a different way when you least expect it. So take this from me and start putting yourself first. Now, if you struggle with whether it's anxiety or overthinking or people pleasing, and you're wanting some additional help, or you're wanting to know, where to start or how to start, or you've been in the journey for a little while, but you're kind of stuck in a place where you don't know where to go next, feel free to follow me on Instagram at Rising Synergy. Um, I'll pop the link in the show notes. And if you are wanting to know more, if you're wanting to go deeper, if you are wanting to know more about how to go deeper with healing what it is that's inside you so that you can move forward and go and live that dream life, if you're wanting to go and run that business, if you're wanting to go and find that dream friendship or dream relationship or dream connections with people, but you're wanting to put yourself first and you're wanting to stop overthinking and you're wanting to stop people pleasing and you're wanting to actually put yourself first for once in your goddamn life, then come and follow over on Instagram and send me a DM, because my doors are always open for anyone who is wanting to open their own doors to themselves. So thank you for listening. And I hope that you have gained something from this little experience of listening to this korero with me today. But otherwise, I'm going to love you and leave you. And I'd love to know what your favorite takeaway was. So make sure to leave a comment or send me a message on Instagram, or take a screenshot and share this on your story in Instagram and tag at Rising Synergy in it, so that I can celebrate with you and we can continue on this conversation. So I hope that you're having a beautiful and magical day or night, wherever it is that you are in the world right now. And we will see you later.